Hi, my name is Dallas Albers, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about a data center that's being built in Louisiana. This is Shay. She'll be listening in on my assignment. Thanks for joining me. Meta, the corporate giant and parent company of Facebook and Instagram owned by Mark Zuckerberg, is investing $10 billion towards the construction of a massive data center in partnership with Entergy Louisiana in northeast Richardson Parish, Louisiana. The data center, a project dubbed by CEO Zuckerberg as Hyperion, will house server banks with the purpose of training large open source AI language models. The project will consume a huge amount of energy and will also take up over 4 million square feet, an area larger than Disneyland. I'll be pulling information and opinions from many sources, including a news release from the Louisiana Economic Development Department, some press statements from influential Entergy representatives, as well as an article from a nonprofit organization called the Alliance for Affordable Energy, as well as some other research and opinion sources. My overall goal is to inform you of why this project is being carried out, why Louisiana is home to this project, and some of the potential implications and consequences this data center holds for the future of Louisiana. It should come as no surprise in late 2025 that the race for supremacy in artificial intelligence is growing more competitive and influential within American society every day. Corporate empires have been fiercely competing in recent years to develop advanced language models with the goal of reaching super intelligent platforms capable of a huge variety of tasks. The Hyperion project hopes to advance Meta's relevancy in this area after lagging in the AI race over the last couple of years. Articles from The Guardian and from Fortune describe Meta's previous ventures, as well as their current open-source AI model, Llama, being recognized as solid and relatively influential within the AI model sphere, yet often facing setbacks and generally lacking in overall best-in-class performance. More specifically, models like X's Grok, OpenAI's ChatGPT, and Google's Gemini have been far more recognized and used within mainstream conversation. The Louisiana Economic Development news release highlights Meta's Director of Data Center Strategy, Kevin Janda's position that Meta is building the future of human connection and the technology that makes it possible. He claims that this data center will be an important part of that mission. Marketing around the project has also been strategic, as both Zuckerberg and the general public are aware of the growing concern against AI development and some of the potential environmental consequences it carries. Zuckerberg, however, maintains many promises to the state of Louisiana, including investment towards things like energy facilities, infrastructure, water restoration, and job creation. Our Governor Jeff Landry has advocated for the project publicly as well, stating that Meta's investment establishes the region as an anchor in Louisiana's rapidly expanding tech sector. He says that it revitalizes one of our state's beautiful rural areas and creates opportunities for Louisiana workers to fill high-paying jobs of the future. He also thanked Meta for their commitment to our state and to the state legislature for positioning Louisiana to win this project by passing new tax reform legislation that he states attracts capital investment and improves Louisiana's business tax climate. Delving a little deeper into the governor's involvement, Landry's support for the project has led many to question why Louisiana would host this project in the first place. Louisiana is infamously known for corporate policy that attracts large developments such as this, often at the misfortune of its large rural populations. Take Cancer Alley, for example, the 85-mile stretch of land between Baton Rouge and New Orleans that contains over 150 petrochemical plants linked to rising cancer stats. It's quoted by Johns Hopkins University. Meta has committed to the construction of the Hyperion Data Center in a process that takes advantage of a new Louisiana incentive program that the Louisiana Economic Development Department states offers qualifying projects a state and local sales and use tax rebate on the purchase or lease of data center equipment. Convenient. Critics of this project have also recognized further potentially predatory aspects of the relationship between Meta, Entergy, and state officials. According to independent media outlet 404 Media, the state rewrote zoning laws specifically to change how state property could be bought and sold, which was in facilitation to create more tax incentives in an effort specifically to lure Meta to the state. Further, Entergy, seen by many as an energy monopoly to the southern United States, is being permitted to build 3 new gas plants through the deal, all of which will generate more income for the state government in long-term projections. This led many citizens to be skeptical of the priorities of their government. But the most damning consideration by many is how this will affect the taxpayer. And unfortunately, despite promises made by Meta, only 15 years of payments for the gas plant's construction will be covered in the deal. The financing of the construction is established for 30 years, though. This suggests that after the 15-year mark, Louisiana residents could be left with the bill. Further, no real evidence or statistics have been released by Entergy to prove that this will lower utility bills for residents of these areas. Entergy CEO Philip May has stated that potential 10% decreases in cost to reliability upgrades and storm recovery could be established, and that the development of over 100,000 jobs is written in planning over the next decade. But the issue is, this doesn't necessarily mean these things will happen the way they're being projected. And if anything, utility bills and insurance costs could be expected to rise with possibilities of further environmental and power grid stress in the region. Finally, to explore in detail more of the overall consequences of this project, we'll look at a report from the Alliance for Affordable Energy, as well as a research paper written by Eliza Martin and Ari Pesco in March 2025. The Alliance for Affordable Energy recognizes many immediate effects to the construction of this data center, including at the very least flickering lights for nearby residents, voltage impacts to neighboring homes and businesses that could cause permanent electrical damage, and some potential damage to the Grand Gulf nuclear facility, which is less than 60 miles away. Of course, as previously stated, residents across Louisiana footing the bill and holding the risk of Entergy's gas plants. The organization calls the project a black hole of energy use, stating that the energy needs of Meta's data center is roughly 2.3 times the power needs of Orleans Parish. To recognize the legitimacy of concern for many of these outlets, we can look to the research article titled "Extracting Profits from the Public: How Utility Ratepayers Are Paying for Big Tech's Power." To summarize for the sake of time, this article looked at 50 regulatory cases involving data centers and found that tech companies were regularly pushing some of the cost onto utility customers through secret contracts with utilities. The paper found that the utilities were often parroting rhetoric from AI-boosting politicians, including President Biden, to suggest that pushing through AI permitting for data centers and infrastructure is a matter of national importance. That there's no time to act differently, is how the authors put it. So, fundamentally, the efforts of this massive project will only grow more controversial and political in nature. There are many unique elements of intersectionality to consider, and possibly positive outcomes yet to be determined or witnessed. But while many will remain skeptical of the overall purpose of this construction, how our government navigates relationships with corporate empires in our state, and the effects of projects like this, they're all still topics of heavy debate and study. There are positives and there are negatives to stuff like this, and new statistics are available all the time. The real implications for long-term Louisiana will be known in due time. The most important thing that you can do during uncertain times like this is remain educated, vigilant, and motivated to advocate for the greater good of your home. If you care about Louisiana, and if you care about the United States, it is your job to prevent powerful entities from becoming smarter than you. Thanks for listening.